Cakes, pies, jams, jellies, sweets, all very sumptuous and having one ingredient in common, sugar. The extraction of this basic commodity from sugarcane has been a long-standing tradition in Jamaica and is closely tied to our history. The first stage in the manufacturing process involves the extraction of the juice. Sugarcane is weighed, then loaded onto conveyor belts, which takes it into the factory. While here, it is washed by high-pressure water jets to remove dirt, then chopped into small pieces by a set of enclosed high-speed knives. It then goes through a series of mills where it is crushed and the juice removed. The cane trash or bagasse left back at this stage is used as fuel for the boilers, which provide energy to drive the entire factory. In the next stage, the juice is clarified. This process involves adding lime or calcium hydroxide to the muddy greenish juice and heating it. This causes the impurities in the juice to settle as mud. This mud is pumped to a filter where juice contained in it is recovered by suction. Excess water now has to be removed from the clarified juice. This is done in evaporators where boiling of the juice takes place under low pressure. From here, the syrup goes to another type of evaporator called a vacuum pan, where further evaporation takes place until the sugar begins to crystallize from the syrup mixture. In the next stage, the mixture of sugar and molasses is cooled until crystallization is almost complete. The sugar is then separated from the molasses in a spinning machine. This container spins at very high speeds, causing the mixture to be flung against the sides of the wall. The surface of the wall is perforated, allowing the molasses to pass through and the sugar to remain. Raw sugar is then carried to the warehouse by means of conveyor belts where it is bagged. Sugar, a basic commodity produced and exported by Jamaica.
The face of the banana industry has changed over the years. In its early days, the pier at Port Antonio would be lined with people carrying bunches of bananas on their heads to the waiting ships.
Today, high-tech growing methods and new varieties of banana are taking over. But one thing remains the same. The undying love of the banana grower for his crop hasn't changed. And if anything, Gilbert's setback has only made him more eager to return the banana to the forefront of Jamaican agriculture.
The hurricane blow down the field, you see, and it affect my family. I mean, I didn't have anything at all. And with the help of the government with the program, you see, they give me fertilizer, more cap and spraying, and the field come back up.
That was Mr. John Howell, small farmer from Highgate St. Mary.
When Hurricane Gilbert struck in September, we actually lost 550 acres of bananas, newly planted bananas, and another 180 of bananas that were in production at that stage. So all in all, we lost close to just over 700 acres of bananas. In monetary terms, to the crop and to houses, buildings, infrastructure, in the order of $5 million.
And that was Mr. Chris Warren, General Manager of St. Mary Banana Estates, a joint project between the Jamaica Banana Producers Association, the Commonwealth Development Corporation, and International Finance Corporation. Both men share a deep love for bananas, and though their responsibilities are different, they are both currently involved in rehabilitation operations for their respective fields. This is because their livelihood was almost totally wiped out by last year's hurricane. Commenting on the damage done to the industry, Mr. Ren Gonzalez, General Manager of the Banana Board, says
that was estimated at about $450 million damage to the industry. And it requires about $87 to $89 million to resuscitate the industry, to bring it back to pre-Gilbert production levels.
But all is not lost. Things are looking up. The fact that the crop is a perennial one with a relatively short production cycle means that the industry can be back in full swing by May of this year. To achieve this, banana farmers should have started resuscitating their fields immediately after the disaster. Now, only 3 months after the hurricane, where there had been uprooted trees, there are now budding shoots. This is because some growers had in fact done so. The objectives of a resuscitation program include selecting and training young plants in areas where the mother plant has been damaged, implementing a good weed control program to reduce the advantage gained by weeds, adequate fertilization to restore growth and productivity in the shortest possible time, replanting of low-yielding fields. From all indications, farmers recognize the importance of resuscitation.
The farmers really have responded very well, despite in some areas a severe shortage of labor, which the resuscitation program is a labor-intensive program. And we're very satisfied. We've visited a number of the farms and we're very satisfied with the way the resuscitation program has gone.
Bananas are one of our major foreign exchange earners. So when asked about the effect that the hurricane had on the export market, Mr. Gonzalez said,
Well, we were very fortunate in that we had some top civil servants from the UK, and they gave us the assurance that Her Majesty's government would maintain our market in the UK.
In the meantime, consumers who normally look forward to a Sunday morning breakfast of bananas and callaloo have had to curb their taste buds and search for a substitute, as the price of the few available bananas is still sky high. But for those of us who love and long for bananas, don't worry, they will be back on the market within a matter of months. 8 young farmers recently participated in the International Farmer Program. They were involved in dairy training at Land O'Lakes Incorporated. The Jamaica Agricultural Development Foundation is responsible for administering the program.
The Land O'Lakes dairy training program involves sending young people to Minnesota and United States for training in dairy production. Well, Land O'Lakes is a very large dairy cooperative, and every year they invite a foreign country to send participants. Last year, Jamaica was fortunate to be invited for the first time, and we had 9 participants. The Jamaica Agricultural Development Foundation funded 7 of them. Surge Island Dairies funded 1, and the National Commercial Bank funded 1. Each trainee is sent to live and work on a dairy farm for 5 months, after which they come back together for 1 month, where they do workshops, seminars, and field trips.
Each trainee becomes a part of his host family. He participates fully in all aspects of the farm work, from daybreak to nightfall, even in the cold. However, they tackled their duties manfully. They returned to Jamaica full of enthusiasm and could hardly wait to put the new techniques they had learned to the test. Keith brought back an inseminating gun, which he donated to the School of Agriculture. He hopes to be able to use it to demonstrate artificial insemination to students at the school. The young farmers are now well versed in almost every area of dairy operations. Here, Michael, who is employed at Surge Island Dairies, is freeze branding 3-month-old calves for easy identification in the field. The trainees use every opportunity to talk about their experiences and exchange notes on the different techniques used on the host farms and discuss what they have done since their return.
The milking system on the farm that I was more or less similar to what we had here in Jamaica at Surge, where I work. It's basically the same system, but the farm that I was, they had a lot of automation, wherein one guy could operate a parlor by himself, because the only thing the guy does is wash the cows, strip, and put the machines on, and the machines come off by themselves automatically. So it's a bit different there.
I try to implement new technologies on the farm, especially when it comes on to the genetic problem in breeding and also feeding, and the time in which we milk the animals, the proper milking techniques, and also sanitation.
The local sponsors provided round-trip tickets from Jamaica to Minnesota for their wards, who also receive allowances for warm clothing and incidentals. The host farmer in Land O'Lakes provides an allowance of $350 per month, lodgings, and on-farm liability insurance. This insurance was a lifesaver for Keith, who had a serious accident while he was there.
Well, my back was broken in 3 and I had a broken clavicle, my shoulder bone, and a broken rib, along with multiple brain damage, as the doctors say. Well, I mean, my host family, they were, I can say that they were really nice through it all. They were very concerned, as if though I was their own. They cared for me a great lot, and they saw to it that everything was to my comfort.
His hospital bill was approximately $100,000 US. But thanks to the insurance coverage, he got the best possible care, and on his return, he was able to resume classes at the School of Agriculture. How well did these young farmers serve as ambassadors of Jamaica?
Well, the report that we got back was that the trainees were very impressive, and the host families in general found them very good to work with. And I think that the trainees themselves found it very profitable, both from a training point of view and also from the cultural exchange. So this year in 1989, we sent off a second batch of 8 participants who will again be going on a similar program. And people who have jobs in the dairy sector will be interested to know that these participants will be coming back in September and will be available for going into any jobs that are out there.
The dairy industry now has an excellent opportunity for moving ahead. There is a good price for milk, and with the ongoing training program, we will be able to adapt technology to our local conditions and increase our dairy production.